Light the beam. That's a big-time road win. 123-107. Grant, Ryan, and Sacktown, and you are at the right place because we've got the Kings postgame coming up for you in just a moment right here on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sacramento miscue. Carter, stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball. Goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Foley. That is a major league smush.
Rhino, all 5 Kings starters in double figures. The Kings take advantage of no Paul George. You know, the Clippers got close there in the fourth. What was it? 101-95, and that's as close as they would get. I like the Kings' composure down the stretch after the game got a little tight, but this was a big-time win for the Kings.
It's the Kings' biggest win of the season. Take nothing else away from it but that. It was the biggest win of the season. In the 2 games leading up to this against the Clippers, the Kings shot 29.5% from beyond the three-point line. Tonight, the Clippers shoot 29.6%.
How about that? Yeah. Again, there's not anything to really not like about this game tonight. I thought the Kings, the first half, the ball movement was beautiful. They came out, and I thought the start of the third quarter was very impressive. They built the lead up even more. You kind of got the impression the Clippers would make a move, and they did.
Yeah.
But when it got a little tight there, you know, the Kings just, they said, okay, enough. And then look they just widened the lead, and it was a very comfortable win.
It was a comfortable win, and here's why it was on the offensive end. We can talk about the defense in a second, but offensively, the Kings had multiple options to go to. So when the Clippers made a run, me as a Kings fan, I never really got too uncomfortable because you had Sabonis and Barnes doing a beautiful high-low. You've got Monk running a beautiful pick and roll. De'Aaron Fox, amazing game, doesn't even hit a 3. It was just picture perfect if you are a Kings fan.
Well, and you move all the way up to 5th with the win. So you're right now back in 5th with, again, I'm going to just call it, tomorrow's got to be a layup. All right? It has to be a layup. No, it does. I'm just sorry. I mean,
it does.
It has to be a layup. And Tyler Hero may not even play. It has to be a layup tomorrow. All right? You need to go in tomorrow and steamroll a team that I don't even know if they're going to have 8 guys. You have to have 8 guys, but I don't know how they're going to do it. But listen, how about another triple-double for Domantas Sabonis tonight?
He just keeps rolling, and he does it on national TV too. I know a lot of you were griping about Bob Myers, but good to see him do it on the big stage. And one of the things I loved the most was he did not have a good start to the game, a good first half, and the Kings kept going to him, and that's something they don't always do.
You know, if you want to talk about how important every game is, so the Kings now with 23 losses, okay, I only go with the loss column. They're 5th. Phoenix with 24 losses, New Orleans with 24 losses, Dallas with 24 losses. So here's the deal. Those 4 teams are fighting for spots 5 and 6. 2 of those teams are going to be 5 and 6, and 2 of those teams in all likelihood are going to be 7 and 8. So you better believe that every single one of these games is absolutely huge, huge.
Yeah, massive. And don't throw out the Warriors and the Lakers as well that are flirting around that 9 and 10 right now.
Yeah, but they're not gonna be 7 or 8.
No,
you know what I mean. I agree with you that they're probably going to be 9 and 10, but I don't think the separation is enough. Where, and again, yeah, things can change. You can have an injury, but listen, if the Kings play the way they did tonight, they won't have to worry about that.
No, they certainly will not have to worry about it at all. And we want to hear from you tonight. Get in here. We're taking your calls. In fact, I guess we got to start off. Let's get this arm thing out of the way with Contact 209. Welcome to the show, my friend. You're on with Grant and Rhino.
Let's go, Kings. I am now $10 richer. Yep.
$10. Wow. Okay. Maybe you can retire.
$10 bet with my coworker Clippers. Actually, he conceded I think with 3 minutes left in the game. He could just tell we had the game wrapped up. But yeah, this was one of the best games of the year, if not the best. Starters played fantastic. Fox played fantastic. Sabonis played fantastic. We took advantage of a no Paul George. And yeah, I am happy that they're coming great off of this All-Star break. And I'm laughing at this comment that says I have balls.
Yeah,
But,
it's a huge win coming off the break. Grant and I and Jerry were talking about it at halftime. Grant, I mean, how much momentum do you get off of a win like this
Big
going
time.
into a difficult game tomorrow?
Big time. I mean, this is a big win. I mean, you called it the biggest win of the year. I thought it was a big win. I mean, it's difficult to say it's the biggest win of the year, but it was a huge win. I just like everything about the way they approached this game, especially when, it was announced that Paul George would not be there. Now, all of a sudden, you miss one of their all-stars, one of their key pieces, and you capitalize on that. And you're going to capitalize tomorrow on a Miami team that's decimated with suspensions and injuries. And then you roll right into a team that you're 3-0 against, and then you go to Minnesota. So, hey, listen, you can't ask for a better start to the second half than what we've seen. You expect to beat the Spurs. That game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But tonight, a thing of beauty by Sacramento.
oh yeah, and if you watched the ESPN broadcast, there was a lot of light the beam chants at the end.
A lot of Kings.
Wait for the Kings fans to travel.
Yep, absolutely. The Kings fans make that trip a lot. Condog, thanks for joining the show tonight, bud.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, I want to say thank you to Jason for the donation on the super chat. Light the beam chance down in crypto. Fox, Sabonis, Monk, Power trifecta. Yes, indeed. And we appreciate the contribution on the super chat. Glad to have you here on the post-game show. Kings get a big win over the Clips. We would love to hear from you. All you got to do is dial us up, get on, and we will talk to you. We'd love to do that. Good stuff. Really big win tonight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is a big-time win tonight.
Yep, it was one the Kings needed to have. Wasn't a must, but needed to have. And for confidence, huge for them. Let's go back to the phones. We bring in Chang. Chang, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Grant, Ryan, for having me. And again, great win. And I agree with you, Ryan. I think hopefully we can build off this win, just like how last year we beat the Clippers in that double overtime.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, I'm just looking, throughout these games, I'm wondering, what do you think is our best closing lineup? Because I know with how close the playoff, these games are going to get very close. I know there's a lot of things to factor, but do you think tonight's closing lineup is our best lineup pretty much Fox, Monk, Keegan, Harrison, and Sabonis? Or do you think it's including Kevin or someone else? What do you think is our best closing lineup?
Napes?
Well, to me, Monk's going to be on the floor in tight games. He's an explosive scorer. He can get to the foul line, even though he's had his problems at the end of the games at the stripe. But I also think you go with the flow of the game. But to me, your best lineup are the five that you just mentioned, with Monk and Fox, with Sabonis, Barnes, and Murray. Now, could that change? Yeah. If Trey Lyles is having one of those games, then Trey Lyles is going to be on the floor instead of maybe Barnes or whomever, but Fox is on the floor. Sabonis is on the floor. We know that. I got to believe Monk is on the floor at the end of close games. It's the way it's been most of the year. It's the way it should be. He's just too explosive of a scorer. He does so much. He puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So to me, those are your best five at the end of games.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, Malik Monk, that if there's a 50-50 ball, you want him going after it.
Yeah.
As far as the Kings lineups, though, down the stretch, I don't look a lot into it. I agree with you, Grant. That's the best five, but the rotation changes so often. So it's very fluid situation, Chang.
Yeah. Again, it's a nice situation to have. Hey, I want to tell you that if you have any issues with your plumbing, go to sackserviceplumbing.com. You can go to New Works Plumbing because they are awesome. They have a fix for you. They are available 24/7 for all of your plumbing needs and repairs. That's sackserviceplumbing.com, or call the number on your screen. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Light the beam. The Kings with a big-time win tonight in L.A., and they beat a team that's one of their nemesis in the Clippers. And, hey, you know what? That's injuries are a part of it. No Paul George, you take advantage of it, just like you need to take advantage of tomorrow after the brawl with the Heat and the Pelicans 2 nights ago, in which Miami went in there and beat New Orleans. But they're going to have to pay for it because they are decimated by suspensions. And also, especially if Tyler Hero does not play. He left that game with about a minute and a half left, limping badly to the into the locker room, and he's questionable. So, again, got to take care of business tomorrow. Early start time tonight, so you won't get back to Sacktown very late, and you should be ready to go tomorrow.
I'm kind of trying not to smile because everything that you just laid out for tomorrow seems like it's the harder of the 2 games between what we saw tonight and what we know. But hey, Grant, maybe the Heat will sign Nando from Miami Sports Vibes to a 10-day contract.
There you go.
Maybe he'll be in Sacktown tomorrow.
Dirk wants to know, is Rozier out too? Yes, Rozier is out. He's already been listed out, so he's not even available.
Oh, really? That was updated. I only saw him as questionable. That's huge.
Yep. Pretty awesome, huh?
It's big. It's huge. And let's talk about this. There's going to be a lot made of the Kings defense tonight, Grant. What stuck out to you or what was different in your eyes?
Well, the Kings have been a horrible team defending the 3, and I thought they did a much better job of that tonight. So that's what stood out to me. What about you?
Yeah, that was the obvious thing. But I think what stood out to me is they weren't out of position. Tonight, they were in position. It looked like 5 players on the same page. They all knew the game plan. And when they play cohesively, we know they can actually play defense. So that was a big thing for me.
Well, again, there's no negatives tonight at all. Do you see any negatives tonight?
No. I really don't. If you wanted to nitpick, you could probably find a few here and there, but no. I mean, they executed. I thought the coaches, tonight, A+, players, A+, fans, A+.
Yep.
Broadcast team nationally, you guys had talked a lot about it. Not us, you guys.
Yeah. I want to go back on Terry Rozier. I misread the report. He is still questionable. So I want to make sure that I'm on that. Thomas Bryant suspension, Jimmy Butler suspension, Jovic suspension, Richardson shoulder, Drew Smith knee. They're all out. Heroes questionable, Orlando Robinson questionable, and Terry Rozier. So I got ahead of myself. Rozier has not been ruled out. He's questionable.
So we'll stay tuned to him. But even if he plays, it's going to be an uphill battle. Bryant actually played well the last time the Kings and the Heat hooked up. So, yeah, there's no reason the Kings should not win this game tomorrow night.
Oh, you kidding me? Come on. I mean, yeah. And then you go on the road for 2 games with Denver and Minnesota. So, hey, so far so good. We haven't talked a lot about Harrison Barnes tonight. He was very solid in this game.
He was excellent. He brought it from the start. And he sometimes, and I got to wonder this, I would love the media to ask this question. Why don't the Kings do more high-low action with him? Because to me, that is his sweet spot. And when the 3 ball is not falling, Grant, that slows this team down a little bit.
Jerry talks about that all the time with you. You brought that up. Jerry brings that up, and we don't see it a lot, do we?
No, we don't. And I think a lot of times he has an advantage down there because a lot of the attention is on Keegan Murray. Keegan's no longer camping behind the 3-point line. He's an active player in the mid-range.
Well, again, the Kings are now 5th in the West. So, I mean, it was just, 24 hours ago, they were 8th. Okay.
Yes.
And now they're 5th. Okay. So, but it can go the other way too. You lose 1 or 2 games. Look at New Orleans. They're bad stretch coming out, right? Think about this. New Orleans, 2 bad losses. And the loss tonight to the Bulls. How do you lose to the Bulls? That's a bad loss for New Orleans. It's
a bad loss, but we will take it. Hey, Grant, when you were in Sacramento, did you have any trouble with the meters when you were getting on the freeway?
No, the meters are green all the time when I'm on. It doesn't matter. They're always green 24 hours a day. It's a non-issue for me when I'm driving. I don't stop for meters because, as you know, I don't do that. So, no, there was no issue for me whatsoever. None.
Good.
None whatsoever.
Good. I wanted to make sure Zach heard that because we got our buddy Zach. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Okay. Hey, Zach, how are you?
How you guys doing today?
How are you, buddy?
I'm feeling pretty good. Even with the rant meter talk, I'm feeling absolutely great right now.
You should.
Big time win. Everything was clicking. I don't even know who played bad on our team today. Harrison was feeling it. We always try to keep Kevin Herter start the game strong, getting him open looks, and he was taking advantage today. Monk with off the bench doing the pick and roll. Sabonis playing pretty well. He missed a couple bunnies earlier, but we'll take it. It's going to happen against Zubac sometimes. And the refs were a little iffy here and there, and Fox kind of came over that too. Love the Kings fighting and digging deep this whole game pretty much. Even when the Clippers were coming back, made it a 5-point game or so in the fourth quarter, we still dug deep. And the most important thing, I don't know if you guys talked about it, but when Fox left the game, when the Kings were down 8 or up 8, we kept the game even more. When Fox left, we probably were all like, "Oh boy, here we go. This is gonna," we're getting a little scared, but we stuck it out. And even Davion, who I always don't have the nicest of words of him, but he played decent, even though he was a -5 today in his minutes. I think he still played well. Just watching him, he played decent D, and I love it. And hopefully we can get the win tomorrow. Although I don't want to count the Crows too early, like Grant, because we play to our competition a lot. So
It's very true. And listen, Miami's going to play hard because that's the way they play with their exposure. I mean, it doesn't matter who they have out there. They're going to give you an effort. Matter of fact, they played very well against New Orleans after Jimmy Butler was ejected the other night. But, again, this is the time of year where you need to take advantage of the opportunities. We saw it a year ago. 12 months ago, we were talking about the same thing. Seemed like every game the Kings played, there was a key member out on the other team. Almost every night, right? It started with Portland resting Damian Lillard and McCollum and all those guys, right?
Yep.
Or whoever, and then maybe not McCollum. It was Jeremy Grant. McCollum was already traded then, but they didn't play Lillard, right? They didn't play Grant, remember?
Yep.
And then it seemed like every game the Kings had, there was a key player out for the other team. And think about this. Tonight you don't have Paul George. Tomorrow night you don't have Jimmy Butler and a host of other players. Take advantage of it, just like the Kings did last year. That's why the Kings were third last year. They took advantage of all the opportunities.
Exactly.
I agree. We got to take advantage of these games, and they did it in the second half of the season last year for sure. I hope they continue to do it. I just like to see probably just some nitpickings here. The bench got to play a little bit better. Trey Lyles. I know we were a little shorthanded without Sasha and Alex, but be nice to see, Trey Lyles do a little bit more. I think I haven't seen him play as well lately, but I think if he gets it going, I mean, this team really can beat any team on any night, and it just depends on how they're feeling almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they can beat Boston, but I would agree with you. They can beat just about any team on any night. I wouldn't, as far as Sasha, I wouldn't count on Sasha being back the rest of the year. I just wouldn't. I think could he be back? Yeah, but by then, everything's going to be gelling. You're going to be going right towards the end of the season with, playoff positioning. And I don't think you're going to have the luxury of bringing him back into the lineup and seeing how he does. So he's not even going to be, what was it, 6 weeks before he was even evaluated after the ankle sprain less than 2 weeks ago. So I'd be leery about him coming back.
If Sasha is going to be available, he's going to be the Terrence Davis for the Kings. Like it's the doomsday button in the playoffs that if you need offense, that he goes in. Zach, hang with us for a second, because I want to run this by both of you guys. Before you came on, Grant asked me if there was any negatives, and you reminded me of something, Zach. De'Aaron Fox chirping still. Did anybody else, put it in the chat if you did, notice how close he was to getting ejected? He was about this far from getting ejected after he got that layup where he felt like a foul should have been called, and then he got the jump ball.
Yeah, he was chirping a lot. I think that for that technical, I mean, that's an automatic tech every time when they throw their hand like that. And that was probably also a culmination of, because he was chirping a lot before that. And then I think after that, you are right. He was very close, because I think after, he got the technical, he came up and scored a layup or whatever, a mid-range shot. And then he was like yelling again at the ref. So
it was Zach, it was the play that he got the tee on where Harden came into him and he felt like that contact was initiated. Well, the same thing happened on the other end of the court, but De'Aaron didn't get the call.
Right. Yeah, I think the refs were a little iffy today. One of the worst calls I saw was Kawhi just throwing the ball into Sabonis' face, and I guess that's a foul, on every. I don't know why, but I thought that was a little bit not a great call. But yeah, I mean, Monk does it too sometimes. I mean, I don't know what Monk did. They didn't really show it, but he got a technical today. Hopefully, I don't
No,
know.
no,
Mason.
that was not on
No,
Monk.
no.
No, that was on the bench,
Oh, I got
and
you.
it was a bullshit call. But that was
Yeah,
on the
I was
bench.
that didn't make a lot of sense to me, that call.
Yeah, I think because Monk was on the bench, that's why I thought it was on. He's leading the pack, or maybe it was Mason Jones taking over. Looks like he's
Yeah,
been hyping up this team, even over the limit. But we like it. I still like the energy that he's bringing.
I'm with you,
Zach, good
Zach.
hearing from you, buddy. Thank you very much for your call. You have a good evening, okay?
You too, guys. Take care.
All right, thank you.
He's the best. Zach knows his stuff for the most part.
Zach's good. Yeah, enjoy, Zach. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're gonna go international real quick. We bring in Baki from Serbia. What's going on?
Hi, Rhino, and hi, Grant. It's
What's up,
nothing
Baki?
without you. The show is not the same.
Well, it's still good. How
Ouch.
are you, buddy?
I'm fine, thank you. Rhino, you're right. Fox was inch close to be ejected. That was really really annoying seeing yelling at the ref, but he was about I don't know. He knew what the referee is gonna not gonna do anything about ejecting him because the previous call was, I don't know, 50-50 maybe, but never mind. But it would be a really shame because that's the moment that crashed the game for me. So that would be the shame. But another thing, I would like to hear from your thoughts about the both direction of the tonight's game, because I think they start to improve a lot, and as near as that playoff is, the defense is becoming more and more important. So how do you like we stopped one of the greatest offensive team and kept them under the big pressure? A lot of points Clippers scored, I should say on force. So Leonard was searching that drive into the paint, wasn't successful. Harden was under constant pressure. And I would like to hear from you about that team defense from tonight.
I thought the
I like,
defense was good tonight, but I don't want to see the defense good on one night. I
yeah,
want to see the
yeah,
defense good on a consistent basis. I didn't see the defense play well against the Spurs, who
yeah,
are an inferior team,
agree.
but I did see it tonight. So, like, I keep on saying this. I want consistency from this team. Maybe it starts now, but they again, I see it tonight. Will I see it tomorrow night, or are they going to be lackadaisical because they're playing an inferior opponent like we saw against the Spurs? I mean, the Spurs looked like they were having a 3-point shooting contest out there. Like, how does that happen?
Also driving to the basket, not only 3-point shooting. I was
Yeah.
noticed that it was easy, but I think everything is about the Kings. If they have energy, they play great defense. If they have lack of
Well,
energy,
let's
they
not get
don't.
carried away. Let's not get carried away. Let's not say great defense. They don't play great defense. They
Okay,
play
no,
good defense.
good defense. Okay,
Okay.
okay. May I get one more question for you
Of
too?
course.
Of course.
Yeah. So for you too, what is the better pick and roll, Sabonis and Fox or Sabonis and Malik?
Sabonis and Malik all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even
Definitely.
close.
3-0. We are.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yep,
buddy.
that is a good change of pace. Thanks, Baki. We appreciate the call.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, it's definitely Sabonis and Monk. I'll tell you, Bennett's. Hey, folks, fabulous. I was there 3 times last week. Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland, of course, their location in Sacramento and in Roseville. If you go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com, you can make a reservation, check out the menu and more. Prime seafood and steak at Bennett's. Don't forget about the weekend brunch and so many other great things. 60 different types of wine available by the glass. That's Bennett's. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Beam is lit, and the Kings with an outstanding effort tonight. Period. Outstanding game.
Indeed, it was. We love hearing from all of you too. You guys are doing awesome. We bring in ADF. ADF, welcome to this show with Grant and Rhino.
Hey guys, I just had a couple things. De'Aaron Fox I think if he is not on, then it is just
We lost him.
We lost him. I think, Grant, what he was getting at is De'Aaron Fox goes, the Kings also go.
Yeah, he's the key to the team. He's the engine. He's the guy that makes this team go, period. I mean, he's not the best player because I think Sabonis is the best player on the team, but Fox is the most valuable player.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. I mean, even go down to even a more micro level than that. The Kings are 4th in the NBA in 2-point percentage, yet they're 27th in the NBA in 2-point attempts. You know who predominantly controls that? De'Aaron Fox. Look at what he did tonight. He was excellent tonight. He was 0 of 4 from the 3-point line. So it's which De'Aaron Fox wants to show up. So you want to be the one that everything's going towards the basket or everything's going away from the basket?
Yeah, and this team, I'm still hoping to find that level of consistency instead of the up and down, and they got a great opportunity tomorrow to keep the win streak going. And then they're going to get tested twice big time on the road, at Denver and at Minnesota. And Denver, Denver's already lost to the Kings 3 times. And if they have a full lineup, which means Jamal Murray, which has missed 2 of the 3 games against Sacramento, Denver's going to be ready, and they're going to be chomping at the bit for Sacramento. That is going to be a big-time test on their next road game.
Yes, it will be. And Jamal Murray, like you said, he's been the missing piece. He has not played against the Kings any times this season, right, Grant? None.
Yeah. None.
So,
no.
Yeah, there you go. You brought something up earlier that I want to go back to, and it doesn't directly relate to the Kings, but it does. The Boston Celtics, they're just in a different class, aren't they?
They are right now in a different class, but they need to be in a different class when the NBA Finals begin.
They've got to
So, but yeah, right now they are. I think they're clearly the best team in the NBA.
Pretty impressive the way that they're playing basketball, 1 through 7.
They look good.
A different level.
They look really good. They look really, really good. Kings look really good tonight. They look really good tonight. It's a big-time win for Sacramento. So happy to have each and every one of you here on the post game. And 24 hours from now, we'll be doing it again with Ryan with the pregame. Jerry joins us at the intermission, and then the Kings and the Heat post game. But Sacramento with the win tonight, they move all the way from 7th to 5th. And what was it? Little more than 24 hours ago, they were 8th in the West.
Yeah.
Now they're 5th. Just amazing how quickly things can change.
Yeah, and the one thing that's not going to change is just that. Things are going to continue changing in the Western Conference on a nightly basis. It's a race to the finish, and the Kings have a few more games than some of the other teams. Some of the teams at the top of the league have played a couple more games than the Kings.
Yep. That's why I only look at the loss column. I don't look at anything else other than the loss column. So because of the uneven amount of games that were played. But again, I like the fact that the start time was 6:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you won't get back late, and you have to be ready to play tomorrow. You can't just be saying, well, gee, they don't have this, they don't have that, they don't have that. Yeah. No, you got to be ready to come out and make a statement tomorrow that you're not messing around, because we've seen a lot of bad losses at home, particularly in these type of situations where the other team doesn't have a couple of guys playing and the Kings come out flat. Don't come out flat against the Miami Heat, because the Heat under Eric Spoelstra, they will play hard regardless of the 8 that are on the floor. They're going to play hard.
Bingo. And pick and pull. That was spot on. I'm going to add this to it. Pick and pull the things tonight that you've done or you did that translate to anybody that you play in the league. Things that may be a matchup problem for them. I'm referencing the high-low specifically. Pick and roll sometimes with Monk. So those things translate.
Nope. Again, just go out, and it seems like when this team, I want to make sure I say this the right way, because you should, over 82 games, you're going to have some nights when it's not just there. Maybe it's the attention to detail or whatever. The approach that the Kings took to this game tonight, my eyes just told me that their approach was spot on, right? It was whatever it was. It was just, my eyes said, okay, this is working tonight.
Yes, it felt like a playoff approach. It felt like a playoff game. I don't know if something triggers in them when they play the Clippers that it's like go time, but they turn it on against them, and that's why I want to see him do it against the other teams coming up in the next few games.
Yeah, well, tomorrow's the next opportunity against a suspension and injury riddled Miami team. And again, if they don't have Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier, who are both questionable, the game shouldn't be close. It just shouldn't.
What's a team do, excuse me, in a situation like that? If you're, and I get they're coming all the way from the other side of the country, but signing players, you're not in your hometown, you're not next to your G League team.
You have to have 8 guys. Well, they've had several days off since the New Orleans game, so they have been able to make plans to get players from the G League and sign 10-day contract, whatever the case may be, because you have to have 8 players. You have to dress 8 guys.
I wondered about it because the NBA didn't come down with the punishment until today. I thought maybe that would have come out yesterday.
But Miami knew. I mean, they got the video. They saw the guys that left the bench. That's automatic, and they had an idea that Butler would be suspended. So you're right. It didn't come down till today, but they're prepared for it. They're prepared for it.
No doubt indeed. Hey, do us a favor if you haven't already. Please subscribe to Grant's YouTube channel, and thank you if you have already subscribed. Grant just passed 7K, so we really appreciate that. And then go check out my daily podcast. It's called The King's Court. You can find it on all podcast platforms. Here's the key. It's short form, usually 10 minutes and under, get you in and out, get you ready for that day.
Beautiful. Hey, folks, also check out CalusaSunrise.com. Blazona Development has Sunrise Landing in Calusa. 6 models to choose from. No Mellorews, no homeowners. Just go to CalusaSunrise.com, and you will be able to check out everything at Sunrise Landing from Blazona Development. Again, just go to that website, CalusaSunrise.com, and see for yourself. Kings with the big road win tonight, and next up, a home game tomorrow against Miami before they're right back out on the road. Kings must feel like they're on the road all year based on what the last month has been. Man, they have had just a crazy lopsided schedule. And guess what? They're doing well. I mean, think about that. They got all these home games that are going to be coming up after Minnesota and Denver. Now they got to start taking advantage of the home cooking, something that they have not really done much of since moving into the Golden One Center.
No, you're spot on. And I think when you look at, too, this stretch that the Kings have, this is that stretch that's going to galvanize them. And this is that stretch that they've just have to get it together at home, because that is not their strong suit. And that is a lot of what's coming up, Grant, as you said.
Again, tomorrow, Rhino with the pregame show at 6:30, Jerry Reynolds with the halftime show, and then the postgame show, the Kings and the Miami Heat. So happy when we get these calls and we get so many people joining us here on the postgame show. But think about the standings now. Again, you have Phoenix, Sacramento, New Orleans, Dallas. You have 4 teams that are pretty much fighting for spots 5 and 6. I'm conceding the top 4 spots right now.
Yes.
Could that change? It could, but right now I'm just conceding that. 5 and 6 is fine. 5 is fine. 6 is fine. 7 is not fine. 8 is not fine. I don't care if there's 6. You told me right now the Kings would end up 6 in the West. I would take that right now, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. And as much as we've complained about this team, Grant, we're 26 games away from the finish line of getting to the playoffs. Maybe this is the time they hit their stride, Grant. It's the table set. They're at home a lot, like we've just covered. So this would be the time. I hope they do it. I hope they do.
Well, I like what I saw tonight, and it gives me I don't know if it's a turning point, because again, the Kings are 5th in the West, and they don't. I keep on using the word consistency.
But it's a false fifth.
I hope tomorrow we're not talking about a team that came out and was inconsistent again. That can't happen tomorrow against the Heat.
No,
just can't.
Wouldn't you concede, or at least meet me in the middle, that it's not a strong 5th seed in the West? They don't feel like a 5 seed in the West, right? So it's still kind of shaky there. But yeah, they need to have a strong performance tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. They have to take care of business when they usually don't.
Well, we're looking forward to talking about it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll just end on this. Look at the last few games outside of tonight. They've had to find a way to lose ugly going back to before the All-Star break. They've put that in their belt. So now they can throw that in the mix when the three
Great
ball's
point.
not falling.
Spot on. Bingo. Hey, thank you everyone for joining us here on the post game. Good job. Light the beam. Keep it lit. Keep it lit all the way until the Kings get on that airplane to head to Denver. We appreciate each and every one of you. Always fun when you can join us here. And as Ryan said, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate that. And we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on If You Don't Like That. Have a great evening, everybody.